I know that you might have learned this in a little different perspective. Not wrong, but different perspective in Exercise Phys. Okay, there has been this misnomer that after you go 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, that your body is going to hang on to liver glycogen and you're magically going to start burning fat. Okay, what kind of people are we? Okay. If this were really true, would there be any fat people in the world? I know that sounds like a really basic question, but if we really very quickly started and easily and efficiently started utilizing fat as a fuel, no one would have any extra stored adipose tissue. You guys, our body does not like to burn fat unless we teach it how to burn fat. And this is a relatively new way of thinking. Now, what we do know is as the duration goes on, the intensity goes down, you start to burn a little bit higher percentage of fat, but you're not going to fully maximize fat utilization until your glycogen stores are empty. But here's the thing. If you're an athlete that is solely dependent on glycogen, when you run out of glycogen without repletion, your body's gonna balk because you haven't taught it how to eventually get to the lactate threshold. It's the strangest thing. For your body to burn fat, you have to teach it how to burn fat. Now here's what we know. We were born to be fat burners, but we have systematically jacked it up with the overconsumption of what? Sugar and carbohydrates. We've made our bodies dependent on glycogen instead of dependent on fat. So what happens is, with us being overly dependent on glycogen, whenever we run out of glycogen, it's going to have us default to using muscle or protein as that fuel. Because your body is going to say, if you haven't taught it, your body's going to say, oh no, she's starving herself, or oh no, something bad's about to happen, I'm going to hang on to fat. Why would we be DNA wired to hold on to fat, especially if we have become glycogen dependent? Anybody ever see the movie Castaway?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Great movie.
Great movie. Wilson. Okay? Here's what we know. That movie, whenever Tom Hanks was on that island, okay, initially he blew through his glycogen storage. Then, did y'all notice how skinny he got? Skinny, okay? He lost muscle mass first, and then his body started trusting him and started living off what little existing adipose tissue he had. That's why he got so crazy skinny lean, because he didn't have a normal food supply. With us with a normal food supply, I mean, did Tom Hanks have a friendly 7-Eleven on the corner of that island on that beach? No. He hardly had any intake of any food at all, much less glycogen. You guys, we're talking, we saw him fishing and breaking coconuts. Okay? Fish is protein. Coconut is what? It's a lot of fat and a little bit of carbohydrate. So he was basically eating a higher protein, a higher fat, and a lower carbohydrate diet. And guess what he was? Lean and strong. That's just not the movie. That's what happens in the body. But we have taught ourselves that once this glycogen tank is empty, don't burn fat, because we instantly have told the body, hey, chill, I'll put more glycogen in. You can't utilize fat oxidation whenever there is always glycogen present. Because here's what happens, and it talks about fat oxidation in this left-hand column on page 59. It says that fat can be synthesized and broken down when there is this enzyme called lipase. What's it called?
Lipase.
Okay. Now, question. Anyone ever cooked bacon? Yes or no? Answer the question. Have you ever cooked bacon?
Yes.
And let's just say that you cooked bacon, and in that moment you're like, oh my gosh, we're late for church. I'll clean up the kitchen when we get back. So you go and you come back, okay? And all of a sudden, the only way for you to break down that fat is to have some sort of soap. Yes or no? Does soap go away with water? Does fat go away with water? No, you have to have some sort of soap. I want you to think about lipase as the Dawn dishwashing liquid of fat. When your body releases lipase, it's an enzyme that signals, release the grease. When your lipase is rocking, you will burn fat efficiently. You want to know the number one way to jack up your lipase? Starve yourself of fat. So, what? No. You want to eat fat. That's what I'm saying. A higher fat diet, okay, your body will respond to. So if I'm consuming more fat, my body will say, I need to go shopping and get more lipase, because I got to break it down. If there's not any fat in the diet, the body's like, why do I need to make lipase?
It's like I need to hold on to what I got.
Exactly. In a perfect world, we would blow through this muscle glycogen, come over here, have our body trust us, and utilize fat as the energy source. Why do we really want fat to be the energy source for duration? Number one, you have a ton of it even if you're lean. You'll never run out of it. And what else is it? It's a clean burning fuel. Okay, you know how we say leave a small carbon footprint? Okay, fat leaves a very small carbon footprint. So here's what happens. You build a bonfire, you come back, and you burn food that was so perfectly seasoned, so well aged, that you're like, man, that actually fertilized the ground with the ashes instead of just leaving a mess. You guys, muscle is the dirtiest burning protein, followed by glycogen, then fat. But for some reason, this whole low-fat diet paradigm that we were stuck in forever told our body, don't make any lipase, don't burn any fat, store it. Okay? Your body will store about 2,000 calories of glycogen, which means you have to be in a 2,000 calorie glycogen deficit to even trigger your body to make lipase to begin to use fat. You guys, empty your glycogen stores occasionally. It's like cleaning out your closet. Clean it out, the system. Trigger your body to make some lipase. I mean, this is gonna be the easiest question ever. How many of you want to be an efficient fat burner for the rest of your life?